a ton of replays that pitch that throw from right field to the tag.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was ridiculous. All right,
Yeah.
Ryan's here. Let me get him to unmute to unmute. Like, do you
Now?
unmute yourself, Ryan?
How about now?
Yeah, we're back in business, my friend. Ugh. Sorry about the technical difficulties on Crew Call Live, but that's what you get when you get a camera guy doing a show, man. You know, I'm trying to audio. What do we always say? I mean, we can say it now because you're a tape guy and I'm a camera guy, but audio is always the enemy. It's always the one that makes us crazy.
Ryan,
Can't always
camera
figure
guy.
this stuff out.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's all good. So
Yeah, it's all. Oh man. So you went to school. Let's start where you. So you went to school for media. You were thinking about this as a career, right?
Yeah.
But were you thinking about being a tape guy, or what were you thinking when you were in school doing this?
No, I was going to be a sportscaster, and that was what I was going to do. And then I saw myself on my school's production, and I was thinking, and I thought, well, that's not going to be what I do. It was pretty terrible. So I figured I had a behind the scenes type of thing. So then I went and worked at a TV station for a while. And a guy told me, he said, why don't you get out and go do sports, like go do some games. And I was like, all right. So I went out and I started being a runner.
So where were you living? You're from Houston, right? You're in Texas, guy,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So this was down in Texas, and so you reached out to who?
Well, I didn't really actually. A producer who I worked with at the station told me to, he said, you should go out and do this. And I said, oh yeah, I'd love to. And so I went out and started I was a runner it was funny because I was only a runner for like 3 months, and a guy quit and they said, hey, do you want to do tape? I was like, yeah, sure. And so next thing you know, I was in there doing tape. And so it blossomed from there. And
well, that's always interesting to me because, like, I always say that you need exposure to the equipment and the people, and that's how it happened. That's why being a runner is such a great position because you get exposed to the people and you get to see the equipment. You can choose. I'm sure when you had that time, you were using that time to your advantage, talking to the guys, learning a little bit there. So when the opportunity came, you're ready. I mean, that had to be a little nerve wracking too, to be, so that you jump into the tape room and what happens. Yeah. Now how long ago we're talking? How many years ago? Are we talking when it was really a tape room? What were you learning on back then?
That was 1994. We were on 1 inches and betas, and that was it. I mean, it was 1 inch and beta was the only thing. We had 3 tape machines for a baseball game. That was it. And it was me, and I don't know if you know David Gray Hash, but it was me and him and a couple other people in the Houston market. And so Hash and I both have just kind of, our career paths have gone almost identical to each other since we started. So we've been pretty blessed with being very fortunate to have some of the relationships that we've made in this business, and lucky in some regards, and also we took advantage of our opportunities.
Well, obviously you took advantage of the opportunity, but you have to take credit for the work. You guys do good work. I mean, first of all, when you talk about learning on the tape, learning in tape and the machines and stuff like that. Now, that part of it, you had to learn the equipment and do it a certain way, but you were learning the workflow. You were learning how producers work, how the directors talk, how the shows work. So like that part of it doesn't change. I mean, how the shows get made, what has to happen, what your job has to supply to the show doesn't change. But now that the equipment changes in the way you do it, that's got to be different. So then EVS comes onto the world, right? It was EVS was the first, I think, right? Or was the one that was most introduced to the market.
It changed the landscape more than anything else, for sure. I mean, it definitely changed the landscape, and frankly, it made a lot of things so much easier. I mean, because before you were having to back up and not make sure you didn't record over a home run, or everything was linear. And so now the EVS makes everything instant, and you can record and play back. And so it makes it so much easier and so much better in so many ways. And it's been great for the industry in general. I think it's revolutionary. It's probably the single biggest change in television in terms of, the way we do television since I started, because cameras have changed a little bit, and cameras have, but the basic camera is still running a camera is still similar to it was.
Right. It's pan, tilt, focus, zoom. I mean, obviously the skill set is more than that, but you're right. The way we operate is the way it's always been operated. And it's kind of, we know the tools and the way there's all little features that changes, but your whole way of doing your job changed. You went from pushing buttons that are on a machine and scrolling back and marking ins and outs to a totally different clip reels and transferring stuff and hard drives, and the whole world changed in that respect. You're absolutely right. Where it was, but then that was set in stone for a long time. EVS had their controller set for like I think 17 years, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they did switch it on you like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And then that revamped, and you had to relearn some things too. Did that affect you when that happened?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest effect that it had on a lot of us was that, we just didn't see it as much. We would see it every once, the VIA, we would see it every once in a while. We wouldn't see it on a back to back to back basis, at least me, doing the shows that I did, because, sometimes they would have legacy controllers and sometimes you have a VIA. And so you were just kind of going, well, I kind of remember how to do that. But I mean, the basic operation is still the same, but they came with more features and better things and some things. And now that I'm accustomed to it, it's way better. And I can't stand working on a legacy now, but it happens.
But was there a learning curve? Was there a learning curve to it?
Oh,
Did you find ways to how do you teach yourself these? I mean, I know that a lot of these companies, EVS is a great company. They have courses and classes, but that's in Jersey. You're in Texas. So what resources are available to you? I mean, because you're not, I mean, in our world, it's once you're an established guy, you're working in this business, the change just happens. You're right. You show up one day, a new truck pulls in, and all of a sudden it has a new controller on it, and you got to kind of figure stuff out, right? That you didn't get a kind of like a precursor or a heads up.
Not really. I mean, we really literally just, it was on the fly. I mean, we saw demos. They would bring demos out and you would get a chance to sit on it and play around and get it. I mean, we had one at the World Series several years ago, and a bunch of us got to, I think Eric may have ended up actually using it, but we had one. And so we ended up, you just kind of learn on the fly. I mean, it wasn't that big of a leap in terms of learning curve. It was just, it's eye hand, you're so used to doing certain things a certain way, and they moved the little buttons here and there, and it just wasn't quite as comfortable. So the basic operation was still pretty similar.
So it was more of a muscle memory thing. The button that you
muscle.
normally felt was here, and now it's there.
Yeah, that's all it was for me, really. I mean, there's a bunch of bells and whistles that it does, different things that it does from the legacy controller that it significantly improved, the way we operate. But I think as far as just basic operation, there wasn't that drastic of a change that people were like, oh, I can't do this. I don't know how to do it.
Now, how do you, when you talk about your basic operation, like, so like when you're assigned cameras and stuff like that, do you normally have, do you know what clips you're going to get? What do you have any pre stuff that you do to prepare for a game, or what is your routine like?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that, I don't know if I have a routine. I mean, honestly, I'm very fortunate too to have been with a lot of really great camera guys who have made my life really easy. And so, and I've been with several of them for multiple years now. So I kind of, and it happened actually during this past World Series where, Tony Gambino, I know, Tony, but he misses a couple games during the World Series to go do football, and another guy steps in. He's a good operator, but I'm triggering a Phantom, which I kind of know where Tony's going. I know what Tony's going to do. We have a pretty good work relationship where I just kind of have a feeling for what he's going to do. So those kind of things help, I think, a lot. Having those kind of relationships too helps you as an operator, helps me just know what's coming, what he's going to get. And, same thing holds true with my NBA that I do. And I've been with, Pat Rondo, he's a legend, and he never doesn't have it. He's always got it. So it's like, I know I have it if it's in, and it makes my life easy. It's simple.
I mean, it takes, well, you are lucky in the fact that you are on, I mean, that is probably the best, when we talk about the work in this industry, when you get to, like, I do a lot of shows and I jump on crews here and there and I fill in and I do stuff, and I'm a mixed match of, we're all freelancers. So everybody's career is different. Nobody has the same type of career doing the same thing. We're all in this industry carving out our little thing, doing our little thing. But when you're when you're on those crews, and I've had the lucky ability to have joined. I've been on the B crew for Fox. I've been on crews for CBS, and you work with the same group for weeks over weeks and weeks, and you do this, and you do get accustomed to how they do things and the workflow, and then that is part of the camaraderie of the team. Like you talk about Tony. Tony is a guy in our market, does that phantom camera on Yes games all the time, and it's amazing work. And then so let's talk about that part of it, because now you're talking another level of EVS where there's another controller, because the phantom changes it, because you're talking, the phantom high speed is one of those, what is that, a high frame rate camera. I think it was mostly designed for like to shoot explosions for bombs, crash tests, all kinds of crazy things. I did some research on the website, high speed, phantomhighspeed.com is a website. But what was that workflow change for you? Because now you have to, it's a whole different thing. There's two different units that trigger, you have to trigger it separately. What is that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's hard, because that's kind of silly, but it is more challenging, because you have 3 blocks, so to speak, and each block has about 6 to 8 seconds once that play happens, you have 6 to 8 seconds to trigger it, and then it plays back into the EVS, and then I can play it out. A lot of times I'll trigger it and it'll be playing out, and we'll be playing the replay back. But I like to have some speed control, so I do run it in a variable mode, so I'll be able to speed it up, because sometimes it takes forever to, a 6-second clip will take almost 2 minutes to render. And so sometimes it takes that long to happen, and you have 3 blocks. And so you have to be judicious in what you trigger, because once a home run, for example, you got the swing, you might have a reaction coming down the first baseline, and then a reaction at home. And so you want all of those, and you've just got to be ready to trigger that thing and get it as, the best of what you can get out of that camera during that time. And so
if you miss the trigger, so if you trigger something, you can't get it back, right? That once it's off, it's out of that window, you can't get it back, right?
Yeah. And there's been times, I mean, like I can't remember I think it was Springer's home run I can't remember if it was the World Series or the CS, but he hit the home run. He ran down the first baseline, and he was just jumping and screaming right at the camera. And I waited a heartbeat too long to trigger it, and I missed the swing. But I mean, I had the incredible, it was an incredible reaction from him. So I was okay with missing the swing in that instance. But, going back on it, I would have triggered the swing, then triggered the reaction after that. But I didn't do it that way. But, that's kind of the way it goes. Once it happens, it happens. And if you miss it, it's gone. So
now when you're working, so we were talking about triggering swings and stuff. We were talking World Series. You worked with the great Pete Macheska, who is retiring from doing producing the World Series. This is a picture of your entire tape room, right? With Pete.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is going to be unbelievably missed. I mean, we tried for 2 solid years to keep him, make him come back and try to keep him in the tape room, but he's got, he's done it plenty, and he's gets to enjoy his extra free time now, I guess. So, but he will be greatly missed. He's a true legend, and he's just a great guy on top of it all. So
I know. I was lucky. He was a producer on when I was on the B show, so he was my guy for many years. So I had a chance to work with him a lot, and we'd lose him for baseball in all the time, but he was always fun. And then Sid was our guy too, and Sid's your tech manager. Was Sid in that picture? No, you had other pictures where you were. I think you had a picture with. Let me see if there was one with.
I have a great picture of Sid somewhere from like the '98 Olympics. He and I are in a bobsled. That's Hash.
Oh yeah, Sid's in that one. Sid's right. That's Sid right there. That's the tech manager. That's Ches.
That's all
a lot of the guys that Al, Mario's in the back, Frank Lombardo. A lot of the guys that from my market are,
I tell all those guys that I'm a camera guy trapped in a tape guy's body.
Well, I heard that you had a chance, some opportunities to do camera. Didn't you?
Yeah, I've run camera a few times, and it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
What happened? What exactly happened? I heard there's some stories, because I think you had a chance to work with Artie Kepner, who directs the Monday Night Football.
Yeah. So that was the first time I actually ever ran camera. Was this is actually kind of a funny story, but we were doing NHL on Fox, and we were in New York, and Chevy
Wait, was that back when the glowing puck day or no?
puck, exactly. And so Chevy came up to me and said, "Hey, can you run camera?" And I said, "I don't. I mean, I've done it for Jumbotron maybe once or twice." He's like, "Well, Artie's looking for somebody because we need somebody to run camera." I was like, So Artie comes up to me and says, "Hey, can you run camera?" And I was like, I mean, he said it's easy. It's end zone. You just keep them all in. No big deal. I said, "Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, fine, I'll do it." So at Old Madison Square Garden, when they had I don't know if it's still like this, but in the end zone, they dropped a ladder down, and you got up
Oh,
there.
you were in the old. Oh my God, the MSG in the old times. It was like it was within the like the ribbon.
Exactly.
They would drop a ladder down,
Yeah.
and you had to walk up, and that was a horrible spot. Oh
It was
my
horrible.
God,
And
no
so
bathroom,
no, they
no
gave me a
ability to
bucket.
go to a bathroom, no ability to come down till the game's
They
over.
told me I couldn't come down till after the game's over. They locked me up. They give me a bucket in case I have to go to the bathroom. So I'm sitting up there, and I think I was smoking cigarettes at the time. I think I'm up there smoking a cigarette, running camera. And the first thing that happened is Artie tells me because he told me from the beginning, he said, "Look, you're only going to shoot all 10. Just keep everybody in. No big deal." First thing he says, "Okay, shoot the goalie. We're going to put a side panel of the starting line or whatever next to the goalie." I'm like, "All right, whatever." So the goalie's just standing still. He starts doing his slide from left to right. And I'm going the graphic. I'm moving the cameras, the graphic going across him like this. It was awful. So then actually Pablo he was running my tape machine. And so we were in the middle of the game, and I'm shooting, and the puck's in the near corner down here, and I've got it. And I see a fight breaking out on a line change in the top of my corner. And so I zip over, and I'm cranking and zooming, and they always laugh at me because I go, wah, 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 wah. But anyway, I finally get to it, and it's just awful. And Mike Burks was producing, and
Oh no.
yeah, so Burks is producing, and I hear him Pablo freezes it before it starts to push in, and I hear Burks just start yelling at him. I could hear him through Artie's mic, and he's like, roll it, and Pablo's like, all right, and he just rolled it, and I was like, oh my God, no. And so you just saw this, and it was so bad. And Artie's like, I told you to keep on. And I was like, I told you I wasn't a camera guy. So, but anyway, that was one. And then I also ran camera again at the Olympics in Nagano, which was also a disaster, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah, well, was that the Herman Meyer story?
That was the Herman Meyer story. Yes.
What was that? I mean, Nagano, Japan. That was CBS, right?
That was CBS. That was Burks again. So I was a Burks guy for 4 or 5 years with him on NFL, Fox, and hockey, and CBS. So he did a lot for me. But we did that Olympics, and we had a blizzard, and they decided they were going to split our crew, and because CBS had offered to send a crew up, but Burke's like, nope, our crew's doing it. We're going to do it. We can do it. So it's like the downhill. And so I show up. I am a Southerner by full admission that I hate cold weather. And so I show up that day. I had probably every piece of clothing I owned on, and they put me on this camera, and I was at the finish line. So Herman Meyer's across the way, and he's going through his whole routine about, I guess, visualization. And Burks gets on and says, get him to look up. And so I'm shooting him, and I just go, look up, fucker. I yelled, and the mic's on. The mic was on. So Burks, to this day, if I see that man, that's what he says to me, look up, fucker. And so he got a good kick out of that for whatever reason. But
did he look up?
Well, no, not. I mean, he was far, and I don't think I doubt he could have even heard me. But I mean, the hot mic picked it up off my camera, so I was like, "Oh Lord!"
Yeah, that's when you open your head and said, "Goddamn audience, people! Like, you believe somebody walked by and said that?"
And they had it on the we were all taped. We were all tape delay because it was in Japan, but it didn't go on air. Thank goodness. That'd have been tragic, but it was funny. It was a good story. They let me run camera a few times now and again for Little League, the regional, Waco regional, which is I'm still not very good.
Now, you see that? You see what I'm playing now? Does that bring back any memories to you?
Oh yeah. That was
This was what?
That's the Malice in the Palace. Night to remember right there.
Yeah, this was a big. This was in Detroit, and this was one of the biggest fights in NBA history. Ron Artest. I think we see our buddy Steve Angel comes in with the handheld.
He is
Right,
in the
he's in there.
yep, he's in the middle of the melee. I mean, this prompted the NBA, honestly, because of that Steve Angel, it prompted the NBA to tell camera guys that if a fight breaks out, they cannot leave they weren't allowed to leave the sidelines. But before, because they just would go out and shoot whatever.
So you were there for that? You were there, and what was it
There.
like for you? What was your story about being at the Malice at the Palace?
And that thing was it's actually funny because I'm in the documentary that they did briefly. I'm showing the police officer. You have to probably freeze the movie, but like I'm showing the police officer the video, and we were there till almost 4 o'clock in the morning that night, showing video to police and all of that. And
Well, they actually came into the cops came into the truck and
oh yeah,
started asking you to.
yeah. So that we were showing them tape. I mean, it was tape, and I was on a tape machine showing him, videotape of this, these things that happened. And it was it's I don't know if you've seen the documentary, but it's the same guy, the police officer is the same guy who said he didn't know who uh oh shit, what's his name? Uh I can't even think of the guy's name now. And I said he's an idiot for not knowing him. Oh, I can't, the star for Indiana that year. He was in street clothes, he didn't even play. Uh, uh he's the announcer for Turner now, or for
I forgot. I know who you talk about, but I can't remember his name. But he didn't know who he was.
he had no idea who he was, and he almost maced him in that video. So and then he's the guy in there. I'm showing the video too. And I was actually named in the lawsuit.
Oh, Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller.
Yeah, I was actually named in the lawsuit of the kid who got punched, which is funny. I was named as a witness. I was like, oh great.
Did you have to?
No, not
Because
there.
because wait, you a witness from the tape room?
I guess. I mean, they named a couple of other ESPN people, executives and stuff as witnesses, and so I was named in that lawsuit of that kid that Jermaine O'Neal almost killed. I mean, if you see him standing, he kind of bows up to him, and Jermaine O'Neal comes flying down, and almost if he'd have hit him, he might have killed him.
Yeah, that was a wild one, man. So you've been lucky enough 21 NBA finals, man. I've never had. I mean, I've done NBA for years locally in New York. The Nets and the Knicks, but early when I first, the Knicks haven't been good for a long time. Like last couple of years they were okay, but '93 was their last big run, and I was just starting out then, and I was around the Garden, but I wasn't a game guy back then. I was just starting out doing ENGs and stuff like that. So I've never had a chance to work on an NBA final. I love shooting basketball. Like for me, if my I don't like handheld was great when I was doing it, but I don't have the shoulder and back for it to do it games like that anymore. And I totally love and respect the guys who
Me too.
who game and ball and go out there and you know I would love one of these directors who works these handhelds and makes them get up for every huddle to just do it. Get up from the ground once with
Just
the
go sit
shoulder
it
with
on
the
your
camera on
shoulder.
your shoulder.
Yeah, just go sit it on your shoulder for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, the job is it is what it is. But NBA finals must be fun and exciting. And are you always assigned now that I mean, are you always assigned the same cameras and machines or no?
I
Or do
mean,
you
for the
know?
past, it's probably been the past 15 years. Yeah, I've had mid-court handheld, Supermo, and I do basically all the rollouts, to break and end a game and all of that for the last 15 years. So, and the end of season rollout, I do that. And, it's a group like Hash, myself, Nathan Beck. There's a bunch of us that all kind of do that rollout at the end of the season. So, yeah, I mean, I like I said,
Oh, you do like there's a big, massive,
yeah,
mega rollout for the whole playoff
and
thing
then
like that. So
green,
is that like a build in progress kind of like you start it at the beginning and all the whole tape room as they get highlights and clip they think it's worthy and you just keep adding and adding and adding to it like
yeah.
roll out.
Hash sits next to me, and he is incredible. I mean, he does stuff that other people aren't capable of doing, I don't think. And so he gets a lot of really awesome stuff. And I think I accidentally sent you a video of he and I working together, and he and I just like really, really good. And he knows how to, he just
Yeah,
has a
you
good
did. You
eye
sent
for
me.
it.
This
Yeah.
is him right. This
Yeah.
is you and him right here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And this is actually during the finals, and it was a rollout that he's going and getting something and running extra motion through to make it to extra motion's a separate little toy that we've got now with EVS that makes stuff look shallow depth, and it just makes it look pretty cool. So
Oh,
he's
is that with the novel filter on,
yeah,
or is that through the EVS?
it's through the EVS. This is an EVS thing that makes it look makes any camera. It can make any regular speed camera a super mo, and it can also make a regular speed camera a shallow depth.
Is that an AI thing? Is that an
It
AI
is
thing?
it is an AI thing. Yeah, and that's something that is, I mean, like that guy, I mean, he'd get that video right there is pretty funny because we did, I mean, that was a play that happened and we got it and we weren't even sure if it was done. It wasn't done rendering, and I threw it in the roll that he said, "You good with it?" I was like, "I don't know. How far along am I?" And I said, "Well, hell with it. I'm going with it. We'll see what happens." And it worked out. So
Yeah. Well, so there's no reward without the risk sometimes, I
that's
guess,
right.
huh?
That's right. Yeah. And so, but I mean, that video really demonstrates, how good he is and how we work together, in the field. So
Do you still feel like you're learning from your peers? Like you said that you see what he does and how he does it.
every
What does that mean for an EVS guy? What are you looking for? Like I know from me, like camera guys, you got to, like, just like you guys, you got to know your gear first. So you got to know the equipment you're working with. But then it's all about developing your eyes and your ears, how you listen to people, how you listen to the people you work with, and what you're seeing in visual, because it's a visual medium. So
Yep.
what does that mean for an EVS guy? What is the developmental process? What are you looking for? Are you looking, how do you, because we're storytellers, right? And that's your tool to tell the stories. What is your key?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, that's spot on. I mean, the fact that I learn from people all the time, still to this day. I mean, just how people do things, how people build things, how, what looks they're using, how they're, in a package or how they're selling something. I mean, it's I still there's a lot of guys out there. There's some younger guys than me, probably because the real young guy is kind of a thing of the past now. I think it's, because we just don't have that many on the road anymore because the spots are less and less. But there's still some younger kids out there that are really good and do some really cool stuff. And I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, wow, that was awesome. How do you do that? And so stuff like that. And there's so many good ones. I mean, I learned from so many good people just how to sell, when to back off, when to, and just learn from some of the guys I grew up, when I first started, Aaron Stoikovs and Steve Smurls and Joe Reels and people of that, ilk. And those guys are awesome. And I learned a lot from those guys, how they went about their business. And so it helped. I mean, it's, I still learn from people. Nathan Beck. I mean, I learn from that kid all the time. He's awesome.
Yeah,
And
well, seeing a pro helps you being a pro. You know what I mean? When
yeah,
you watch guys be professional, it helps you be a professional. They kind of help. But what do you mean, like the spots are far between? Is that because of the Remy world now that
yeah,
there's not as much traveling happening? I mean, we talked earlier about things that have changed the industry. To me, the biggest thing that have changed the industry are like gambling is tremendously changed our industry. And in terms of production, it's those high speed cameras, and that shallow depth of field.
yeah, yeah. It's made it incredible. And yeah, the Remy model has definitely, you know, taken away from there's just not as much opportunity anymore as there once was when I first started. I mean, we had a home and visitor show and full trucks everywhere. And I mean, frankly, you could have worked every day, every single day of the year if you really wanted to. When I was in the middle of, my younger years, now it's a little bit more challenging in terms of getting in as a young operator in this world. I mean, there's not many 20 something year olds doing Super Bowls and NBA finals anymore. I mean, when I started, there were a lot of us. I mean, Mario and myself, and, a lot of those guys were young guys doing big shows at that time. And it just I don't think it's as prevalent as it once was. It's more of the guys who have been around a long time and have been established and have the relationships that they've had. It's just harder to get in. It's just harder to get into that world now than it was 25 years ago.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. But yeah, I think the world that people want to get into sometimes is a world that looks good from the outside sometimes. I mean, like the work is fulfilling and we all love the work, but sometimes the travel part of it can be the part that can ruin it for you because you want to find a work-life balance and it's important for everybody. You have a family, I'm sure, that wants you around to be around it, but and you try to plan stuff and be like, hey, I'll be home Monday after Sunday night's game. I'll take the first flight out Monday and hopefully I'll be home in time to whatever. And now there's a delay and blah blah, and you don't get home in time, and all the things that you said that were going to happen don't happen. So you know that's the sacrifice of it. But
Everybody's been there.
yeah, I'm sure. Well, looking at the credits of all the you've definitely had your share of travel. I'm sure some great travel stories in there too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been great. I mean, like when I was young, it was a lot more fun. I mean, just going to new places, seeing new things, experiencing new, ways of life and stuff like that was incredibly beneficial to me, um, both professionally and personally. And now it's just like, oh shit, I got to go to New York again, ugh, or Detroit or LA. It's become a job more now than it was when I was young. It was just more fun when I was young because it was exciting. Now it's not nearly as exciting. I mean, I still love my job. I just sometimes getting there is the biggest issue. And I
Yeah,
think
I
most
agree. Like I still get the excitement of a game time. I still get the excitement of doing something of a, like, or I'm sure you get excited for a nice good rollout or whatever, or when you feel like you really like, like did you have anything from this past World Series? I mean, first of all, you do the high speed cameras there, right?
yeah.
Now, did I hear that you got the chance to like so let's talk about in the workflow of a tape room or a production, every source is named. So usually they name the sources, A, B, Z, purple, yellow, green, whatever, violet. They give them names for something, what did you happen to name the high speed outputs for the show?
Well, I can't take credit for the naming of it, but I was on Snail and our other high speed was Turtle.
I
So
love that. I love the name for the camera for so the director when he's calling for those replays, he's roll turtle, roll snail.
Snail. Yeah, it's been that way for, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if Webby named it that or Aaron, or I'm not sure who did, because it predated, well, I was early on with the Phantom, but it was already that way when I got on that show. So it's been that way for the last 14 years. I know that.
Has the oh, was it the Phantom 14 years ago, or was it that Silverman special that was
Yeah, it was
running
the
around for?
Silverman. It was the Silverman. I mean, I don't know what we called it, but it was the same. It was the same type of thing, a high speed thing that would trigger sometimes and wouldn't trigger sometimes. So it was. This one's a little more. This one has a lot more stability to it for sure. There's no saying, well, it didn't trigger. Sorry, before it would do that occasionally. So
All right, so we were talking travel for a little while. What airline is your
but
airline of choice?
United.
What do they give you for you hit a milestone, didn't you?
Yeah, this is funny. Yeah, well, this was a few years ago because I think I'm at like 3.5 million now on United. So at 3 million, I was in the Denver airport and I knew it was my 3 millionth flight or 3 million miles. And so I get to the gate, I'm sitting there, I'm tired. It's like early in the morning and I hear my name called. Can you please come to the front? And I get up, I walk up there. There's a lady in, she's wearing a global services coat. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to give me global service? She's holding a white bag. I said, are they going to give me global services? And I,
What's global? I don't even know what's global
so
services.
global
That sounds
services
very,
is
very.
that's where they, pick you up in a car and you have your own, private line. I mean, they roll out the red carpet for you basically. So I'm thinking, okay, that's they're going to do that. And I walk up there and she got a white bag and she hands it to me. I'm like, oh, thank you. And she's, oh, we appreciate all your business all these years. I said, well, you're welcome. I will go sit down. I open the bag and I'm like, wait, I thought I was being punked. I'm not kidding. I got 3 bags of chips. I got a bag of pretzels, a bag of Sun chips, and some other bag of Frito Lay chips,
Oh my, for
and,
3 million.
and a right.
Wait, so a bag of chips for each million miles?
Yeah.
Oh my God. United, you got to do better than
Oh,
that,
it
man.
gets worse. It gets worse. So I get on the plane, and I'm in coach, by the way.
Wait, you didn't even get the upgrade?
An upgrade.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm probably fifth on the upgrade list too. And so a guy comes on the plane, and I said, "Oh, they're going to give me an upgrade." He goes, "Mr. Conrey, thank you so much for your service, or all the time, we really appreciate it. We always like to honor people, blah, blah, blah." Next guy comes on, three people end up coming on. Finally, the third person comes on and says, "Hey, Mr. Conrey, can you come with me? The pilot would like to speak to you." I'm like, "All right." So I get up, I go into the cockpit, pilot's in there, he's writing down something. And he said, "We really love meeting all the, these million-mile flyers, blah, blah, blah." He said, "If you look up on the board, they did something special for you." And on the little LED board there at the gate. So I look up there and it says, "Congratulations, Ryan Conley." So it was Conley. I was like, "Oh."
Wait, the airline got your name wrong? The people that make sure that your name has to be right, otherwise you're not getting on the goddamn flight,
Yeah,
got your name
they gave me they
wrong?
spelled my name wrong. And then they gave me a medallion, a 1 million mile medallion. And they also spelled my name wrong when he wrote me a personal note and gave it to me, and it said Ryan Conley. I'm like, "Ah, well."
You know what? Oh my God. You know what? Did you hear the news today? The FAA is cutting flights like 10% in out of all these airports because of the government shutdown, man. I'd hate to be getting my 3 million mile bag today.
Oh, I might lose it today. I might not have been so just whatever about it. I just didn't care at that point, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
2 million miles, they gave me a new driver.
oh, a golf.
Yeah, you got to choose a
Really?
good.
That's not bad. Golf.
You get
I
to,
mean, I think the value of listen. The one thing, the value of those miles is usually, I've always felt like I've always tried to use every mile I had for my family,
yeah,
for a trip for somebody for in the family or us to go away or whatever. That's what that or an upgrade a hotel or whatever they. I was a Marriott and Delta guy, and I always tried to use that as much as I can. But now, you know what, the American Express and the Delta, they changed all their programs. Now it's almost impossible to get into the lounges anymore without cost you a fortune.
well, they've become a
Or,
credit card
it's
company.
horrible.
It is horrible. They should be
What
ashamed of themselves.
what's next for you? So like you've just finished the World Series, right? So you come down from that. How do you take any time off, or you're already working already shows?
Uh,
Like I gotta tell you, I saw Soft Al the other night. Right, the one with the last game, he was already at Knicks on Monday.
he'd work 380 days a year if he could. Yeah, I did Monday night. I did Monday Night Football from home, which was fine, which is easy enough because it's from my house. And then I have college football this weekend. I got LSU and Alabama, and then Monday again, and then I've got some NBA next week. So I'm still pretty busy. So and then my schedule's this time of year is just kind of rough for me because of college football and picking up the Monday now, and I do some of that TGL too, so that takes up a lot of time. But
Well, so you're now one of these EVS guys that we talked about the Remy world where guys work from remote locations, but you're one of the guys that gets to. So you're working Monday night from home.
yeah,
Are you able to kind of show us your setup?
yeah, I can show you. Just walk in there. Yeah, it's
How many guys on the Monday night crew are getting a chance to actually work? Is it just
there's
EVS ops, or is this graphics have a guy from home?
there are four. We have four people working from home that are on Hawkeyes, and then we have a bunch of people who are just we have the Remy operators. We have 4 or 5 Remy operators in Bristol. So
Oh, so there'll be 4 guys out of Bristol that'll. But are they getting access to your servers?
So the Hawkeye system, we have to run it through the X file. So it is still having it. So it takes a little time to get to, like, if somebody's building a rollout and I have a great reaction or something, there's a process that we hit a button that sends it through the X file that processes it to his machine. So then he can look through it, but it takes a while. I want to say 8 or 9 minutes to get to him. So it's not the same as an EVS where I can just go into any EVS and get any look I want. So it does slow the workflow down, and it's not ideal in that regard.
So did you have to change for you to get the setup that you're going to show me right now? Did you have to change anything in your with your internet? Did you have to go to a T1 or a quantum internet or whatever high speed thing, or you just normal? And then is all that you're going to show me they gave to you? Like they said this is what they ship it to you, or they send the guy to set it up, or you just had a they gave you a
No,
way to.
yeah, they just sent it to me and sent me some instructions and said, have at it. I'm like, all right. And then, they're able to log into it and do things. So, um, but it's been, I mean, there's a disconnect with it, and it's,
Like a lag? You mean there's a like when you try to connect you, there's a little bit of a lag to it where you're on or you're not on?
no, there's not really that much latency involved in it. They've got some things figured out, but it just in terms of the disconnect of not being there, with the rest of the crew, and it's weird sometimes being in this little room with this, setup and being on headset, which I mean, you can see it. I mean, they sent me a Riedel, you know, panel, and so that thing is amazing. I mean, it sounds like you're in next door. I don't know if you can see everything, but like
Oh yeah, I see the read up that. So that's a comms panel,
comms panel.
right?
Yeah.
So you have a comms panel. You have your keyboard. You have what you have your monitors. You have what do you have 4 monitors or?
I got 4 monitors that
So
are
one that's all turned on. One will be your program. One will be your workflow. And what would the other ones be?
yeah. So this is my workflow. This generally is my workflow. This is my 2 outputs here. And then up here, I have a program that goes right there. And then the rest I just put in pretty much all the tape machines, all the other tape machines. So I can see what people are selling and whether or not I should try to oversell them or I should stand down, because I have a camera that my primary camera for Monday night it's a camera that doesn't have any responsibility, and he shoots whatever he wants, and he just follows storylines, and he's awesome. And so
Who's the op? You can name drop. Who's the op?
I don't know how to say his last name. Andre Kruzowski or something. I don't know. Yeah, everybody knows Andre. I don't know how to say his last name,
Yeah,
but
I know the name with more vowels than with no the kind of name without a vowel in it. I know the name. What you're talking about?
maybe Mario knows how to say it. It's I don't know.
Yeah. So he does. That's a great. So that's a gig for. So he got already got him just shooting, listening to the announcers and trying to find storyline stuff, and then so that when he does find something, it's up to you to sell it. So you're not talking to Artie. You talk to the tape AD, or you talking to the producer on the.
Yeah, movie? We have an ISO producer that he's primarily, he's listening to everybody in the room and all the operators. I mean, it's got to be a zoo for him, honestly, because and he's trying to listen to Troy, because that is something that, Troy's very demanding in that regard. I mean, he wants what he wants, and if you don't give him what he wants, he lets you know it. So
what you mean? So like sometimes the announcer, like a guy like Troy, will want a certain look of a replay, right? He'll want Troy's. What is he like? So I used to know some guys used to like the camera 4 high end zone look or whatever else.
Yeah, I mean, he's different, because sometimes he'll want, they all want, I say all, most of them want the sky, the sky angle from the sky cam, because it shows everything generally. But Troy is interesting because a lot of times a play will happen and he wants to see the offside, the receiver who had nothing to do with it, or a linebacker who dropped into cover. He wants to see something sometimes totally out of left field sometimes, and sometimes, but he has a reason why, and there's a reason for why he wants to explain why certain things happen, which, I can't argue with that. I mean, he's the Hall of Famer, right?
I think we have somebody who wanted to ask a question here. Tony, did Tony have a question here? Let me see if he had a question here.
Can't wait for this.
No, I didn't have a question.
Oh, I thought you had a question. You gonna drop your camera? No. Where
Sure,
you at? So
he's drinking Bud Light.
Where you at?
Hey, after all your stories before, I wanted to let you know that's why it's called hard camera, because you guys think it's so easy.
Hard camera is an oxymoron.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What's
Hey,
it? So I love that you guys have a relationship where you guys give each other a little bit of shit about it, but you guys compliment each other with your work. That's
yeah,
like if Tony doesn't bring it, and I know Tony always brings it,
yeah.
you can't bring it neither. You know what I mean? So like you both kind of need each other to make it work. You know what I mean? You're not going to shine unless both you guys are shining. You know?
Yeah, and his camera is kind of unique in that way too, because he doesn't really get tallies, so he is everything that anybody sees from him is done through a replay. So if I screw it up, then nobody ever sees it. So if it's that's the unique thing about his camera in particular on the World Series is it's not they never take it he never gets a tally, so he's never live. They don't take him as a live source. So yeah, if I
Do you talk to Tony? Like, do you guys have a love channel? Are you ever, or Tony, do you ever try to talk to him and say, Ryan, I'm going to try to do this, or what? Is there communication between you guys? Do you talk before the game? I know you guys give each other shit after the game.
yeah, we give each other
We give each other shit during the game.
yeah, pretty much all game.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you do have, so you do have a love channel then. You do talk during the game?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're in constant communication. Most of it's just tomfoolery, but it's Tony's not one of those guys who's like, did you get that? Did you trigger that? He'll give me shit if I don't do something, if I don't do something that he had. He's like, I can't believe he didn't trigger, but he's just joking most of the time. he's not a hard ass. He doesn't care. He cares, but he's not like somebody who's just breathing down somebody's throat about trying to get a replay on.
You know what that camera's like, Hardy? It's kind of like a pitcher and catcher in baseball. Like you got to be on the same page. And because he only has 3 triggers, you're not like it's in a Elvis where it's recording the whole time. So so he could tell you more about like the recording blocks and stuff like that. But there's certain moments where you got to trigger it because otherwise you're not going to have the replay. So he kind of knows what I'm doing. And I remember one year in 2020, I think it was like he was in the bubble during COVID and they brought in somebody else and we were just not on the same page. And they were going to keep the guy on for World Series when Ryan was coming in, put him on the machine. And I went to the director. I was like, nope, you got to get him back because otherwise the show is going to suffer without him. So, and they did.
Well, because you can't really teach somebody that kind of thing, right? You Tony, you can't tell a guy to, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing, this is how I do it. Ryan has seen your work, so he knows what you're doing. You don't have to be told, and it works better. And also, you're right. Those 3 trigger points on a play got to be really hard to hit because you're talking about a play that it's the guy's pitching the ball, the guy's catching the ball, the guy's hitting the ball. Those things are going to happen in seconds, and then you got to render it, sell it. There's a whole thing, and then you're in a room of other guys doing it too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Tony always screws me all the time though, because he'll get the swing and then I guess I'll go get the play too. And so now I've got a swing and I got the play, and I'm like, oh, thanks, Tony, thanks a lot.
Why will some guys not? I mean, obviously Tony's comfortable on the camera. He could be aggressive, and
most guys can't get both. That's the truth. Most guys can't not. It's very, very difficult. And I wish people could see the rig that he has to run to shoot. I have no idea. I have no clue how he ever gets anything. Honestly, I have no idea.
Well, go on my YouTube channel. I did a little thing on Tony's setup at the Yankee with the Phantom with the Fujinon that he works over there. That one they get from, I guess they get it from Fletcher, and it shifts with like a crappier viewfinder that they don't even use. They use it as a program on it. And I think Tony, you bring your own viewfinder for the one out for World Series too.
Yeah, I use a small HD. It's a lot better than the piece of crap Fletcher gives you. So that's my program monitor. And my monitor is a lot better than the one they give you. So that's the one I go with.
How big of a small HD do you have? What, you got the 5-inch one or?
No, it's a 7-inch. And then
yeah, right.
It's night and day compared to the old Panasonic. I think that thing is older than me, the one they send with it. So it might even be older than Ryan. So
And well, and that obviously that matters because that's your viewfinder. That's what you're using to frame all your shots. That's what you're using for everything. It's that part of it really is. I wish we
but
had a video guy on here because I wonder how hard it is for the video guys for that stuff.
Well, I'll tell you one thing with the viewfinder, like, the peaking on the viewfinder to help you focus, like the depth of field on that Phantom, I'll put it like this. The front of the first base bag is in focus, the back is out of focus. So when you're going after stuff, you got to be like right on. Otherwise, you're going to be out of focus. And it takes like 20 minutes for you to get back in focus because you're running at 1,000 frames a second. Ryan will tell you it looks so terrible.
Well, you get out of focus for a frame, and it seems like an eternity. I mean, it's brutal. I mean, like I don't understand how they do it. I don't get it.
Is that, do you see when you hit that trigger for that clip and you're rendering a clip, are you seeing it, and are you seeing it like, oh shit, it's out of focus, and then hopefully he's in, it's in, then there's a part where it's in where you can mark you're in, or
Yeah.
sometimes you get a clip from somebody else or whatever, if it's not Tony, and then the whole thing is a blur.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to, I try to go past the point if at all possible to get past the end point of that out of focus, part of it. Cause, sometimes he's getting catches in the outfield, and sometimes it's a tiny bit out of focus when the guy's running. And then all of a sudden it comes into focus as he makes the catch. So we'll just go to the part where he just makes the catch and not show the part of out of focus because, I mean, if I did, Tony would yell at me.
Tony, were you at low first for both at both locations for LA and Toronto?
Yeah. Yeah.
Were they good locations to shoot from, or was one better? Because I know LA has a different setup for their field is higher, right? It's a little more.
Yeah, LA, you're stuck in a pit. You can't even see the third base bag. You're so low. So it kind of stinks, but your viewpoint is good as far as seeing everything on the field, but it's too low there. And Toronto, the problem is that during the playoffs and the World Series, they cramp you in, and it feels like you're like suffocating from all the people around you. You can barely move. So Toronto was pretty good. It was a lot better. It's just like you're so far like outside down the line though. That's what I didn't like about it. I like being more like even with the bag. So
Yeah.
Were there any plays that you guys felt during the World Series that were like made for, like like you want your camera like this, like a play so far away from you, or like there's a sweet spot for like, so what like you want your, like I remember during the season this year, like you had a play where a tag out at first base coming right at you, and you were so tight you just saw his fingers, let's like coming towards the bag. Did you have any plays that like were made for the Phantom?
Oh yeah. I mean, there was one in particular. It was very similar to the one you just explained, where it was going to be a close play at first, and Tony just went to the bag, and it was a bang bang, and the guy slid head first. So all you saw was the hands coming in and the foot stepping on the bag right before the hands got there, and then the body just slid through the bag, and it was awesome. I mean, it just looked so cool in that super high frame rate like that. And over the years, I think we've had a couple of those where right at he's gone right to the bag knowing that it was going to be a bang bang play, and it's when you get it, when it's really close, it's awesome. I mean, it's an awesome look. I think those Phantoms are awesome for baseball too, because you get the reactions that you get from those, and some of the pictures that you get from those are they're just better than anything else you can get.
I mean, we in our market we have one of our best cameramen, Win Bernfeld, always used to make the joke that every camera should be a slow-mo camera. If you're on a sports show, they should all be Mo's. There's no reason why they shouldn't be. But
I agree with Winnie more.
yeah, I mean, the looks are great. I mean, even you'll see it's, but that definitely that high speed. But the problem with it is that the turnaround time. That's
yeah.
that's the hindrance of that. It's the greatest look in sports because
Uh,
it's definitive and it's artistic, it's cinematic, it's all of that.
yeah.
But in order to make it happen, it's time consuming, and you
It
can't.
is time. It's hard to turn a reaction around that happened. We got a few going to break, but like a pitcher reaction after a big play. Screams or whatever, and right at the camera, it's awesome. And sometimes they're just like, we're gonna go to the low first camera because it's quicker turnaround. But we got a few of them this year. We had a few reactions right going to break. I mean, we were able to turn them around quick enough. um you get some, just all you need is a few frames of it, some him going crazy, having a great reaction. So yeah, it's doable. It's just not as easy to do as with the other.
Do you ever feel like is there a lot of stuff that gets left on the cutting room floor, like kind of like where you feel like, I mean, are there clips in your server that didn't make air? Are there stuff that you would like, oh, this is some good stuff, that because listen, sometimes there's other looks that are equally as good, but
Yeah, there it definitely is every single year. I mean, that's part of it. And especially with that camera, I think there's a lot of things that I'm like, dang that. But I think our ISO producer, I mean, I think Aaron does a really good job of, if we sell something and we don't see it that first go around, we come back from break with it, or we go to another break with it later. So in that regard, I think that there's not a ton that doesn't that hits the floor, but there's definitely some, a lot of swings. We didn't use as many swings this year for whatever reason from the Phantoms. But it was all the little things, some great defensive plays, some, slides at home, some safe routes, type of plays. But yeah,
on the swings, what is it? On the swings, they want to see that little ball compression, right? They want to see that ball get a little squish.
Yeah, one year they tried to put us at like 2,000 frames a second, and it was insane. Like I would have to start the swing almost where the bat was hitting the ball because it was so slow. And like, this is silly. Like this, you're not getting anything from this. You're getting a ball being compressed, which is cool, but you get nothing else because it was so slow. But
Hey, how
Oh, so
many
and
how
it
many
had to be
pitch
harder to trigger because now you got to trigger the contact point so
oh,
you got to be like on every pitch, be like pop.
and the more they ramp up the frames per second, the shorter my blocks get. So my blocks get smaller and smaller. So you have like 2 seconds and 3 seconds. So you literally have, 3 seconds of real time to get something from it. And it was just, to me, I was like, this is not worth what, getting a ball compressed.
Yeah, it would take like 10 minutes just for the guy to smile in a reaction. It was terrible. But I was gonna say, hey, how many pitch follows made the air this year?
How many did you nail?
Like 30. Yeah, I was. Yeah, the pitch follows look sick, like coming out of the grip, like the pitcher has coming out of his hand.
So
And the ball just turning in the air. And another cool one is, my favorites are like the slides at home plate, like them
yeah.
coming at you with the dirt kicking up and everything. It looks insane.
Yeah, I gotta find me some of those. You guys gotta send me some of those clips. I love seeing those things. I have not seen the ball follow. Coming. You're Tony. You're catching it up here, and you're trying to go with it,
Yeah.
and just man, that's hard enough.
It's stupid. When he nails it, it is so, I mean, it looks so awesome because it's like you see the ball actually, you can see what kind of pitch it was. I mean, you can see the ball tumbling on a curve ball, you can see the tumble of it. And you can see it moving down, or they do a lot of, splitters and and the change up. You can just see how the ball reacts. Like it's like the splitter is literally just floating through the air. It's not rotating like a fastball. It's very cool. And we don't show it that much because I guess they think it takes too long. I don't know. I mean, they don't love
I
it.
don't know. Like, what, in the digital world, everybody has a YouTube channel, some kind of other way to show it. Like, I don't think any of that shit should be lost. I mean, they got to find their way to. I'd watch it, even though it'd be like if you did a marathon of most of that stuff, it would be forever because it'd be slow. At some point you'd have to put some quick video in there, but I think that stuff is great. I mean, I would love to see them do that. I mean, for me, the cinematic stuff of the old NFL films with
Mhm.
the operatic music and stuff like that. Like bring back some of that stuff because I
Yeah.
mean, I don't get me wrong. I mean, I love sports broadcast. I love how a live show gets put together and all of that. And I thought the World Series was an amazing example of an incredible production team doing incredible work. You guys, all you guys, Ches, Al, the camera guy, your tape room, graphic, EVS, it was all stellar work. You guys have a lot to be proud of. And I put out a little thing this morning on my Instagram with Ches talking about winning Emmys because he got one in '96 and he paid $300 for it. But I hate to break it to you guys, but you better get some more money out because you're probably going to win one for this one. This was a good show. You guys
There's
put on,
600 now, Ches.
yeah,
There's
yeah, exactly. There, you doubled. They doubled up the price now for sure.
We don't get anything. It goes to the important people.
Yeah, the family. I know. That's all you. Nobody like even Chaz was saying. Chaz was saying when he was talking to me that it's not for us. It's for our family. Our reward is getting hired again and getting put on the next show, which is actually the truth. They are nice. They are nice for your kids to see. I always felt like it was a good representation, something nice for them, for your family to see to make up for the sacrifices. Like, look, I was gone for all that, but it wasn't for nothing. We got one of those, and they're kind of cool.
My wife thinks it's way cooler than I do.
Yeah, my kids, my kids get because I got two and they're in the basement. They're just there, and then every once in a while, you know, um, my kids will have a friend come over and they'll be like, "Is that a real? Those are real Emmys?" And on the thing, and they'll one of my kids' friends will get a kick out of it, but
Yeah. That's pretty much how it goes with me.
how many? How do you have? What did you get one for Super Bowl or what did you have for
No,
Olympics? Which
I
one of?
got
I
actually
mean,
got one for
you
national
could
championship.
have one for like you did you told me you did one year where you did what? The Stanley Cup playoffs, or you did a few years where you did in
I did in 2022, the 2022-2023 NFL season, and then there forward, I did Super Bowl, World Series, NBA Finals, and Stanley Cup all in that year because the Stanley Cup that year was pushed because of Olympics, and the NBA Finals was a sweep, so I went from there to the Stanley Cup Finals.
yeah, I was gonna say how do it's not easy to do the NBA and the Stanley Cup at the same time because they're
Virtually
usually kind of
impossible because they coincide with each other. Yeah, but that
so
year,
you did them all in one calendar year, huh?
yeah,
That's a pretty
yeah,
big
that's hard to
milestone,
do
man, to
because
do
it, like you said, it doesn't happen. I mean, it just fell that way too because of the sweep and the Olympics pushing the Stanley Cup back a week or
Now,
two.
did you win the Emmy for any of those that year, or did they lose to the Olympics, or did they lose to something else?
No, I think actually we won a Tech Emmy for the national championship game that year. So it was, I think that year, it's funny. I think that was the year though that there was the Tech Emmy. There were five there. I think there were uh five shows for the Tech Emmy, and I was on four of them, and it didn't win. So maybe it's me. The Olympics won, I think, that year. And the fact that we didn't win one, we should have won a Tech Emmy for the bubble, the NBA bubble. That was one that kind of hurts because that was a true, like, the Super Bowl one that year, and it was like, I don't know. That NBA bubble year was
Well, that you would take one of my Emmys away because that's one I wanted for that
that
Super
was your
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
The one in Tampa with the empty seats with
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think we got that one. I think that was also because it was Brady's last one.
But I'm saying like that whole, all of those shows during that time period were amazing that they pulled them off. Honestly, like I think every single one of them could have won one, frankly, because it was truly a remarkable time where they were able to pull together all of this stuff and have people from doing stuff from their house, and now it's commonplace, but back then it was.
Well, that particular event changed our. I mean, we talked about what changed our industry. The COVID.
Oh yeah.
Complete. I mean, I think that change was inevitable, but COVID definitely sped up a lot of it.
No question. I mean, I think this was coming. I think we were a few years away, and then COVID hit, and it just amplified the time frame of moving it forward.
Yeah, I'm not even sure they've worked everything out. Obviously, they've worked out a lot of it, and now a lot more production is happening from different locations and different people. I mean, it's good and bad. I mean, I don't feel like the work is going away. Like it's not like the job is gone, the job is moved. Like a guy was doing that job on site, but now the guy is still doing that job somewhere else. So
Yeah.
that part of it I'm okay with because somebody's still working. I feel would feel worse if the job was gone completely and it's no longer done. Because in some worlds, unfortunately, in more studio environments, probably in local affiliates and stuff like that, in most of your local newsrooms now, those used to be man cameras. They're all robotic.
Yeah.
There used to
Yeah.
be LDs and stage managers and A2s and audio people. They
Yeah.
aren't there anymore. It's, you know,
Yeah.
the talent is doing there's not even a prompter person in some of these studios. They're doing it themselves with a foot pedal or a little
Right.
thing anymore. So, I mean, the workflow in some places changes, and you know that's the way it is. But in other ways, it doesn't. But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's people are still working. It's just I just think people don't the these people who are working in these environments that are being built in Denver and the young kids, they're not learning from other people. Like, I had the, advantage of learning from really good operators and people who are really good. And I still, you still learn from those people. And I think that's the disadvantage that they're at. Cause I don't think all of them are bad operators. I think they just are ignorant to the way things work and the way things are done. And they don't know any better. They just don't know any better. They're not being taught the right way, I should say. But
yeah, because like I said, that's done the right way is done through mentorship. Like you said, being with a pro helps you become a pro. You learn by, and then now you're not in that environment anymore. If you're remedied out and you're working and you're isolated and stuff, it does hurt. It does hurt someone's progression. It puts you at a disadvantage because I think it increases your learning curve. We would learn quicker in a different environment. But that's the problem with the way the system of the industry goes. The technology has changed so fast. The pandemic forced a lot of change to happen.
Yep.
It is what it is. But
Yeah.
I think for good or bad, sports has been somewhat protected by that because it's been um it's the only thing that's still like appointment television, like live. Nobody is like, before when it was must see TV on Thursdays to watch Seinfeld. And I don't think as many people who are watching or consuming sports or television are caring about being on a certain place or a certain time to watch anything because you can watch it anytime you want on
Yep.
Netflix or any other device, but sports, you can't. When the
Right.
game's happening, you can maybe watch the replay of it or the encores or whatever else, but
I
you
can't
know,
watch
it, it
I
huh?
can't I can't watch a replay. I can't record a game and watch it. I just can't do it. I have to watch
I can't either. I mean, I watch the highlights. I like I do what I do with like an SNL. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I love SNL. I want to see who the musical guest is. I want to see the monologue and I want to see if any of the skits are funny, but I ain't gonna sit through the whole thing,
they used to be funny.
Well, it all used to be. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for your time on this. I want to end this with one last question for the people that are. What would you tell somebody who is endeavoring to into your craft and they want to become a tape or EVS? Where would you tell them they should be going? Where do they start?
I think first and foremost, I think you would address, go to your local uh, Fox affiliate or whoever the local crewer is in the market and just tell them you're interested in getting into this industry. I mean, if you're not already in the industry at some level, but that is the only way at the current, or the jumbotrons. I mean, I know I think New York still does those. They still have the jumbotron people that work in those games.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I think you're right. I think you're right. In-house arenas, in-house stadium productions and the arena productions are definitely a place for if they're close to you, that's definitely a place to start because there used to be a bigger degree of separation between what the equipment was on the
yeah.
broadcast to what was on in-house, and that is not the same anymore. Now
Oh,
it's there.
a lot of these in-house places have some pretty nice stuff. And I mean, again, it's getting your foot in the door and learning and just trying to get your name out there and get recognized by somebody for doing something, good. And so I think that was, that was a way that we all kind of started, was the Jumbotron type of atmosphere. And I think that's a great way. And even just getting your foot in the door as a runner and learning and watching camera guys, and tape guys and audio guys and how they go about their business, and ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And, I know Tony would be glad to answer everybody's question.
Yeah, Tony's always good with the question and answer. Ask Tony. I remember Ask Tony.
Ask Tony. That's the motto, right?
I have
Well,
a
Ask
question.
me, I don't know nothing.
No, don't sell yourself short. You know a couple things.
So
I have
was that Brendan got a question?
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I got a quick question. Kind of just, I've been told as a camera op, you always want to shoot for tape because because you make me look good and I make you look good by shooting stuff like well. So I guess, what are some of the things as a tape op that you want me as a camera op to be shooting for you to make your job easier?
Well, I mean, frankly, depending on what your assignment is, but I'm a big nuance guy, right? So I love the little things that you don't see day to day on a broadcast. Like, shooting just regular play by play is great. And and pretty much everybody has that look, right? So the good camera guys are going to get everything. The great camera guys, I think, have a knack for nuance, like little things that aren't big deals to like what is happening on the field. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Well, I'll give you a good example. A Monday night game a couple of weeks ago, my camera guy Andre, he was shooting. Just happened. He was ISOing a defensive back for the Chicago Bears on the sideline when they picked it off and ran it for a touchdown, and we had a reaction from that guy. I mean, that's something that you don't get from, frankly, it's tough though, because smaller shows, you don't have that luxury of just ISOing and just playing and shooting whatever you want. But I would definitely say the nuance things, and knowing the sport, knowing the players, knowing the little things like that. That's what separates, I think, the great camera guys and great tape guys from the good ones, is being aware of situations, being aware of people on the bench, being aware of a small injury that may have been kind of gone under the radar. A guy played, but he has a little hamstring, and you're shooting his ankle injury and he's limping. I mean, just those little nuance things are huge to me. And I think that, I think the big shows do a really good job generally of showing those things. And for me, that's what I like to see when I'm watching a game. I mean, I want to see little things that people don't think about, that aren't looking for. It's just not just the, pass, catch, run. I want to see how he got open, why did he get open, those kind of things. Just nuance, I guess, that would be my biggest, or my simplest answer in that regard.
Yeah, I would say heroes and goats. That's what heroes and goats. There's always somebody who's a hero on the play, and there's always somebody who might be responsible for the reason why the play happened. So you got to always think storylines. If there's somebody happy on the field, then there's probably somebody unhappy on the field too.
Somebody equally unhappy.
Oh, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was so what about like during like TV timeouts, or when we're in commercial, when I do have a lot more like freedom, like, all right, I have freedom to go choose or go find something else and sell it to you or the director.
Yeah.
What are some of those things that you like seeing, like coach, players interacting, like arguments? Is that something that
I think that stuff is awesome? I mean, I'll never forget. And I don't remember, I think it may have been Joe Reel. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys know him, or I can't remember who it was, but I remember there was a play in a football game, an NFL game years ago, and a guy took a water bottle and squirted it at one of the other players, like from another team. And it was so small. It wasn't anything big, but it was it turned out to kind of be this big deal after we replayed it. But I mean, just him searching for stuff on the sideline, just like I said, little things, just nuance. I mean, there's always something going on the sideline. There's always something, especially in a football game. There's always something. The defensive backs are talking to the defensive back coach, or the quarterback's pumping up the offensive line, or vice versa. And I think all those things those to me are the things that make a great show great. I mean, finding those little things and searching on the sideline. I mean, there are guys who, during timeouts, lock off their camera. So I think doing that separates you from some other people, and
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The fact that you're thinking about working during
Yeah.
the commercial breaks and still selling shots is the right way to think.
Absolutely.
Because he's right. A lot of guys will take, listen, sometimes you're going to take a break and put your camera and not.
Yeah.
But if you can work through that commercial break, or if something just happened and you know that somebody made a bad play and it's a commercial break, and then a coach might come up to him and, finger, hey, and you might be able to catch that. That's thinking ahead of it. I remember on a Super Bowl, not a Super Bowl, AFC Championship in Boston, and it was I forgot what year it was, but I remember it was when Brady's mom had cancer and she had come back from her treatments, and she was and I had a picture of her on my phone at the end of that game when the people got on the field, and I was looking for her. I knew that she was going to be on that field. I wanted to find her, and I could not find her until we were off the air. But I was looking for her. You know what I mean? I didn't get the shot, but I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I knew that there was a shot there, and I was trying to find it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. People who work like during timeouts and shoot stuff constantly and are just constantly shooting. You're just like, number one, I'm in awe of it because it's I don't know if I could do it for that long, but I think that's what separates the great ones from the good ones. I mean, there's great operators and there's good operators, and I think that holds true in all things, but that separates them, and those guys are I mean, they're awesome when they're shooting stuff. I mean, find those little things that's huge.
How many guys are in your tape room, by the way, in the World Series? What is that room like? How many guys are in there?
There's two. I think there's 8 for the this year I think we had it was me, Eric, Kelly. There were 7.
Right, it's 9. 9 in the room and 6 in the vault.
I was going to say, don't confuse him. He can't count that high.
I know,
Eric, but there's a few that I don't count. They're like halves.
good point.
Where are you?
I'm in my car. I'm at my daughter's soccer practice.
Yeah, is your daughter playing Tony's daughter or something in soccer?
Yeah, Hardy, I moved to North Carolina, dude.
My daughter's at softball practice right now.
Yeah, Eric's a Southerner now.
I'm a Southern boy.
Can't you hear his accent?
Yeah, don't you hear?
Did you move? You didn't move, did you?
Yeah, I moved like 2.5 years ago.
Oh,
haven't you noticed you don't see me in New York?
No, well.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks.
I don't hang out in the tape room. No, I miss you guys. Well, are you happy? Are you near Victor?
No, he's in Charlotte. I'm outside of Raleigh.
Oh, you're outside of Raleigh? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like North Carolina. My family vacations down to the Outer Banks, and that's an awesome place, bro.
Yeah. It's all filled up though. Don't there's no room for anybody. Nobody comes down.
That's what everybody says. Stay away. And nobody wants New York.
No.
Yeah. I'm sure you're not the only New Yorker down there.
No.
How was your experience for the World Series, Eric?
That was great. We have a blast. Everything's great. All angles are great. Camera guys are fucking awesome.
Who's your tape? Who's the tape
anything.
AD for the World Series?
Aaron Stoikov.
And so he controls nobody else talks to Pete. He has to sell to Pete.
No,
he does. But if there's something we got to get on, I go above him.
Yeah, we can talk to Pete, but Aaron generally knows where we're going or where we're going. But we will talk to Pete. I mean, it's not like we have to sell to Aaron, but it's just kind of the way it works for them.
Is there what is the procedure to sell? How do you do that? I mean, because you all can't be yelling at him. What do you say? Turtle got it, or Snail has something?
Yeah, we just pretty much yell over each other.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's most of the time it's as simple as just saying what the machine is.
Yeah.
Because if it's just a basic play, but if it's a reaction or like Ryan was saying, nuanced stuff. You try to, you try to get that across as quickly as you can, what it is. You can't give a long-winded story.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the guy's doing this and blah, 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 blah. And then you forget the machine. So you can't do all that stuff. You just got to make it a quick point.
Yeah. Z reaction hitter or whatever. You just try to say it quickly to him.
Yeah. Reaction green, green react or, just, anything like that. But, in some cameras, some replays are just the play,
Yeah.
So when you have cameras and guys that are hunting for shots, you're going to have something different. You got to try to explain it a different way to get it on.
I mean, to Derek's point is when you do it quickly like that, it just draws Aaron's eyes to that machine versus, giving him a long-winded speech and he's like, okay, I got to listen to some other stuff. Eric says, great react, purple. Then he's drawing his eyes to purple versus me going, well, Snail had him going around first and a great react. And then he slid into second and he almost, so
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of, but it's also kind of a well-oiled machine too, really. I mean, frankly, most of the people that are on the show have been on the show for a while. And it's kind of like what we were saying earlier, when you know people and you can figure out inflection, you can figure out, I'm sure Aaron knows when I say something is awesome, it means it's awesome. And same with Eric and Pablo and those people. And when we say it's awesome, he knows, and it just goes to it without thinking about it. So being in that environment where we've all been together for several years, it makes it that much easier for him, I think, too, because he knows when we're to take us serious, I guess.
What you're saying is that Aaron doesn't want you to give your own play-by-play of your machine.
Right. He definitely doesn't want to hear me talking about it.
Yeah, nobody does,
Shut up.
Does it on football? Not you.
No.
But even on football, Mario, right? It's just like, give me a machine. Like they don't,
Yeah.
You don't have to give a big explanation. There's a trust factor when it's the same crew and the same guys.
And then our guy on football is gonna basically tune you out after that because he doesn't want to, he just wants to know, you have it. What do you have? What's good?
Well, that's what's so great about Joel's football show too, is you all been together and there's just implicit trust from Z and Roots about everything that y'all do. And so there's no second guessing. It's all just automatic.
That's the great thing that's missing in this business everywhere. The production people just need to trust you. You're there for a reason, right? Trust.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard.
It's very hard for some people to relinquish that control. I understand that, but every once in a while, you're gonna hit it big with the guy. Like if you let him go, you know how it is, Ryan.
I think that trust also comes with being together for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
That happened with us on NBA early on. It was a little trust factor, but then as time went on, we became a well-oiled machine, and it was just, if I said it, they went to it blindly. There was no second guessing, and y'all's show is like that. Y'all's show is probably the best example on television right now of that.
Yeah,
because you guys have been together for so long and had that great camaraderie. It's a blast to work on that show.
Our production people have a tremendous amount of faith in us to get it done, and they really do. Like, and we deliver. You deliver. So I mean, no disrespect to anybody else. I just think we have like just something. Everyone wants to say, "Oh, we have something special." It is kind of special because it's like it just flows so well and it goes so well.
Well, not many shows.
I think Fox has been good about that, because Fox, the biggest difference between CBS and Fox was CBS had staff people forever, and so there was always a staff people in the mix. And now CBS is kind of mixed match, and they're all kind of freelancers for the longest time. But Fox was always a freelance company, so they brought people together, and they kind of finally brought in their people and kept the people that they really liked and the groups that worked together, and they built teams. I mean, the Fox World Series crew has been guys. I mean, Ches, Al, some of those guys have done 30 of them. That's an incredible number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. And that is, and I think what Mario was saying earlier too, is that's something that is kind of being lost in today's world too, is that people staying on shows for extended periods of time and being together for a long time. But it no doubtedly helps or undoubtedly helps everybody. It helps production. It helps the tape people. It helps the camera guys. I mean, it just makes everything so smooth and easy. And it's like just riding a bike. And they miss that now because you have a lot of turnover. You have, people in Bristol or, wherever, doing games, and it's not even the same people every week half the time. So
Yeah, that doesn't help. Have continuity like that helps for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys. I think that's the end of Crew Call Live tonight. There's a game on. Maybe we could watch some more football and enjoy it. We could critique the rollouts tonight on this game.
Let's do it.
I think what I think a lot of people who might hopefully get out of these conversations they have, learning how we do our thing, and that I was talking to one of the guys that I gave a pass to come watch one of these things, and he goes, I jumped on the call, and he's not even a TV guy, and he just wanted to see what we were doing, and he goes, but hearing how you guys do what you do makes me watch it differently now. And that's what I kind of like, because you become more an educated viewer. So I really feel like, we're educating people on what we do and how we do it, and then they'll see our work differently now. So
yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's very cool. But I appreciate you having me.
Oh man, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for your time. All right, Crew Call Live Thursday, 7 p.m. I don't know who I'll have next week, but come in next week and find out.
I will.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
You got it. Thanks, Brendan. Thanks for jumping on. Tony, thanks for jumping on, brother.